Hello, welcome to the BiG Scuba Show.
Yeah, so I am Grace. I learnt to dive about 10 years ago now, and I'm currently trying to still do my dive master after about 3 years. But I study marine and natural history photography at university, and I am on the BiG Scuba Podcast with Gemma and Ian.
Hi, I'm Ant Westgarth, and I'm Grace's dad. Scuba Grace, as she's probably more widely known. And I learnt with her from the age of 10, and I'm on the BiG Scuba Podcast with Gemma and Ian.
Today's episode is sponsored by Ant at 90, so let's find out a bit more about them. Ant at 90, their tagline has been beyond technical, which describes them pretty well. John Routley and Brent Hudson launched the company over 20 years ago. They are both technical divers who have logged thousands of mixed gas dives between them over a 30-year period. Using their engineering know-how and diving expertise, have developed bespoke, personal, commercial and military diving equipment and products of a universally recognised, unparalleled calibre.
Their ability to be adaptive and versatile with their developments led them to support the NHS during COVID. Using their superior knowledge of breathing and oxygen monitoring systems to help develop emergency ventilators. They also design and supply the sneaky stuff used by defence-based development groups throughout the Western world, although they can't tell us much about that. If you're thinking of moving across to tech diving or completely new to diving, Ant at 90 can advise and guide on the best equipment and setup for your personal or commercial requirements. Ant at 90 have unparalleled experience of shearwater dive computers and are the longest serving and sole and UK European service centre for those. They are happy to offer technical support, servicing, repairs and upgrades to all shearwater computers, past and present. Ant at 90 stocks shearwater computers but are also stockists and technical support centre for many other manufacturers including Divesoft, JJCCR, Hollis, Revo and Kiss Rebreathers.
Based centrally in the UK, Ant at 90 also offer full rebreather head servicing for selected manufacturers.
Bespoke cable assemblies.
Advice on specific fitting requirements.
Suggestions and guidance for home builds.
Computer laser cutting and engraving.
Pressure testing to simulate 400-metre dives.
So, Ant at 90, a reputation built on supporting both manufacturers and divers worldwide.
Go to nantat90.com and make sure you are following their social media to keep up to date with their latest news and offers.
Ant at 90, large enough to cope, small enough to care.
Hello, welcome to the BiG Scuba Podcast. My name is Ian. I am your dive master for this podcast episode. And with me is my fabulous co-host, Gemma.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Yes. Now a rescue diver.
I'm a rescue diver, yes.
You are?
Yes, and it was a fabulous course. This time last week, I was, just on my last day of my rescue course.
Yeah, hot weekend as well for that.
It was, but it was really good fun. It was just me, Sophie and Caitlin from the UEA sub-aqua group.
Right, we'll get a bit more to that in a bit. Coming up in this episode, we are talking to, because it's Father's Day today, as we are recording on this lovely Sunday morning. Father's Day, happy Father's Day out there. If you're listening, I hope you've had a great Father's Day weekend by the time you get to hear this. And hope you're all having a great day from us. So coming up, we've got Scuba Grace and her dad, Ant. So Ant and Grace Westgarth.
Yes, and we first met Grace back in 2020 at the Go Diving Show before COVID hit.
Yeah, and had we done an episode by then? I don't think we had.
No, we hadn't. No, that was the first kind of time the three of us were together at that point. Yeah. So we met. Scuba Grace was talking on like the youth stage, wasn't she, with Inca and May. And we then interviewed all three of them together.
Yeah.
So Grace has been on the podcast before, but we followed a journey and kept in touch. And she's just on an amazing adventure.
Our paths are crossed then at NDAC, didn't it?
Yes.
She was trying out a rebreather, and you hadn't been to NDAC before, did you?
So we had a dive. Yeah. And then we met Grace at this year's Go Diving show as well. That was back in March 2023.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about the Go Diving shows, or any diving shows, is that and I remember, with COVID, there was always talk about going like virtual and all that sort of business with diving shows, but nothing will replace actually talking to someone face to face, having the drink with them, putting the worlds to right, and having the natter and talking about different stuff, and what's that phrase, networking and all that business. And you get to meet people like Grace, don't you?
Yes, yeah,
her dad and other people along the way.
Yeah, and this year's Go Diving show that we went to was just proved it. In a whole day that we were there, we met so many people and had people come up to us.
Yeah, met Christina and Kevin, didn't we?
Yes, yeah. So
spoke to again virtually from day one. Met them for the first time. So that's the good thing about that. Yeah. They're coming up and talking about their kind of teamwork, with because Ant was a diver and Grace is diver and jumping out of planes and doing all sorts of stuff.
Her dad's been there with her all of the way, and they obviously learned. They did scuba together, I think, was it 10 years ago? And it's just really lovely.
So we're talking about that, and what we've been up to. It's been a busy sort of period, really, isn't it?
I think, considering, and
the sun is shining, it's lovely and warm. And we were at Stony yesterday, and there's been comments and things made about the viz. And welcome to UK diving.
Yes,
sometimes the visibility isn't great.
Yeah, so for people that don't know Stony, if you're listening outside the UK, Stony Cove is an inland water site in the UK. It's a quarry.
Sort of the Midland part of the UK. Probably it's something like near on the furthest you can get from any water.
Yeah, coastline.
On the coast. And it's a great training lake. It's a national training lake. There is other ones out there. And, sometimes the visit isn't great, but that's part of it, and that's part of the training. Yeah,
and it is our go-to inland site for testing kit, having sort of just doing some practicing, just doing some skills. So, and we went there yesterday, didn't we?
We did, and that was good. And Honey had her first dive.
There were three of us yesterday. Yes, that's really, really good. Yeah.
So she got on really well and dealt with the tougher conditions was there, and she did well, didn't she?
Yeah, so Honey did one dive, and then we jumped in with our full face masks. So that was our first kind of proper open water dive, and tested the comms, and so that all went very well. And then the second dive, but I think the visibility got even worse by our third dive, hadn't it? So we kind of bumped into the Nautilus.
Yeah, it's quite funny, really, because you didn't really see anyone, and then all of a sudden somebody comes looming out of the silt. And I was like, oh, hello. And then somebody shined their torch at me. I was like, yeah, great. Now I'm blinded. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but you saw some fish and I saw a crayfish. So that made the dive.
Honey's got this habit of every time she sees a fish, she starts waving at her. Honestly, it's like, I'm not sure the fish understands that.
Well, considering the visibility, at least we saw some, marine life yesterday.
We did. But hey, nothing will replace going into the sea. No. We know that. That's the whole point. But Stony Cove, like other inland dive centres, have got some great staff, great team, very helpful. And and you can get a bacon butty there and a mug of coffee in between your dives if you want that. So what more do you want?
Exactly. Yeah. So it was great to see the staff at Stony Cove yesterday, and we really enjoyed our day. The weather, was warm and the sun came out in the afternoon, and we did it in our semi-dries. We didn't wear dry suits yesterday.
Hell no.
And I even went hoodless on the last dive.
Yeah, that's a bit brave. I'm not sure I was ready to do the.
Didn't notice it. So
you've got more hair than me, so
yes.
But yeah, now's the time for our 03 semi-dries, to be honest.
Yeah, so it's very nice that you also had a dive with Honey just the day before Father's Day as well, because that was a first.
Really nice. So that's good. Tell us a little bit more about the rescue course. Why did you want to do the rescue course? What made you want to do it?
Well, everybody says it's such a good course to do. You've said that to me as well. Yeah. So, and I kind of felt ready for it. So, did it. So we do the rescue course at a sort of gravel pit called Weybridge Ocean Pit.
Yeah.
And it's for 2 days, and there was just me, Sophie and Caitlin from the UEA Sub Aqua group, and we just went through all the exercises, and day 2.
Yeah. And they do it there because the visibility is generally not good at all. It's usually quite poor, funny enough.
Actually, Stony Cove was worse than Weybridge Pit.
No, don't say that.
But it was a lot of fun, and the instructors were David Holmes, Paul Fisher. So thank you very much. And then there was dive masters Sebastian, Phil, and Carl. So
it's funny enough, Sebastian was on your open water.
He was. We were buddies together on our open water in July 2020. Yeah, wow. And he was a dive master on day 1 of the rescue course. So that was really fab. So really enjoyed it, and I think it's a bit of a confidence builder in some cases. Might have helped me a bit yesterday.
It's that crossover now, because once you do the rescue course, it's about other people. How do you? That's about how do you keep yourself safe by rescuing somebody else and help them out, and that could be your buddy, or it could be you're walking along a riverside or something, and somebody's in the water, or you see they're in trouble.
Yeah.
How do you learn how to help them without getting yourself into trouble? And then all of a sudden, that problem's now 2 problems.
Yeah. No, as a rescuer, you're the first person that's most important. Got to look after your safety.
Which sounds tough. It sounds quite tough, but actually, when you think about it, it's right, isn't it? Because you're not solving anything if you're putting yourself in jeopardy.
No.
But if you haven't done the rescue course, and not just Paddy, but other diving agencies do very similar things. Have a word with your dive centre, have a word with your instructor who's been helping you through your diving career to date, and say, hey, am I ready for doing this course? Yeah. What do you think? I'm thinking about doing it. I'd like to do it, and I like the skills. So there is certain predetermined requisites.
Prerequisites.
Yes, those. So you go on the websites and look them up, see what's needed.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it if you've literally just done your open water. That's probably a little bit soon, but get some dives in, do your advance, see how you get on with that, and and then maybe have a look at it. But speak to your instructor who knows you well.
No, and it is, everybody I've spoken to has always recommended a rescue course, and I agree.
Because you're thinking about other people, and you might see something, you think, well, hold on, that can't be right.
Yeah.
And hopefully that will help you. So that's all good. Glad it went well. Have you thought about what you're going to do next?
Maybe navigation or peak buoyancy. So need to have a word with Crystal Seas and see what's got there and available, probably for later on in the year, and enjoy the summer.
Navigation's good. I quite enjoyed doing the navigation course, and peak performance buoyancy is good as well.
Yeah.
That's obviously it's all about buoyancy and that, but it's also about streamlining yourself so you don't look like a Christmas tree with all these bits and pieces hanging off you and things like that. So learning about your breathing and kick rates and things.
Yeah, but I think for the next few months, it's just enjoy the diving. We've got a couple of trips booked, so enjoy those.
So that'd be good. So that was good. The other thing I was going to say as well, thanks for people who come up and spoke to us yesterday. It was good to see you.
Yes.
Also, if you are about, when you see us and you see the flag hoisted aloft, come and say hello. We have some great Narked at 90 back straps,
slaps
that go on your masks. And if you ask very nicely and you want to shout out, then come up and we'll give you some of them as well.
Yes. Yep. So we've got some stock, and we had some stock with us yesterday. So
there we go. Okay. People diving up North Norfolk.
Yes. Yeah. Well, our
The-
friend Matt Rivet, he posted on Facebook yesterday that he'd been to the Rosalie and visibility. He did it on his rebreather.
He did. Yeah. So hello to him. And there's a few people diving now off North Norfolk. So our window, why we get excited, is that we don't really have much of a diving window up here.
No.
It's quite a short one. It usually starts now and then carries through till probably sort of end of October if we're lucky.
Yeah.
If currents and winds are in our favour. I do know a couple of people have done November, but generally it's like virtually non-existent.
Yeah, and we've got a couple of wrecks just off the coast for shore diving. We've got a couple of chalk reefs that we can go onto, and then there's a BSAC club that have a rib, and they go out to wrecks a bit further out in the North Sea. So
look up angling divers. They're often posting as well. So give them a look up. If you are holidaying, if you're a BSAC diver and you come to Norfolk for your summer holidays, a lot of people do, give them a look and see what they're up to, because Crystal Sea Scuba, again, they're always organising different trips and different North Norfolk diving sessions as well. So now's the time, get out there. The other thing as well is that now's the time to get on the paddleboard.
Yes, absolutely.
If your partner is a diver and you think, well, I'm not a diver, what am I going to do? Well, get a paddleboard, get on the water and have a look. But again, safety first. You've got to think about the wind, you've got to think about the current, you've got to think about buoyancy aid as well.
Yeah, means of communication, let people know where you're going, what time you're going to be back. It's all about safety on the water.
It is. But paddleboarding, we do it, don't we?
Yeah.
And you can do it on the coast when conditions allow.
Exactly. Yes. And we've been to the coast and things haven't been right, and we haven't done our paddleboarding, have we? So
that's just how it goes.
You just have to make the call.
sealionboards.com.
Yes, yeah. So there'll be a link in the show notes for a link to their website. So go and check out the boards. There's a sale on as well. And they do a complete package. So you buy the board, the pump, the paddle, you get the leash included. So you literally can order and be on the water as soon as it arrives. So
we're hoping to get back on ours very soon, aren't we?
Yes, yeah. I think hopefully this week with the weather forecast. Yeah. And then if you fancy snorkeling, which, is always something you can do out on any coast, then Fourth Element do a great range of wetsuits, rash guards. Yep, all environmentally friendly. Fourth Element are a great brand.
I do believe they've got a 70% sale on at the minute.
Wow, that's good. Yeah.
On certain items. So have a look on our show notes, go there. And there'll be more information on that.
Absolutely, yeah. So we've got all these good relationships with these suppliers. We believe in them, so definitely have a look at them.
Just on a quick note as well, our thoughts and best wishes are with the families affected in this latest liveaboard that's had a fire. I'm sure you've probably heard about it on the news and social media. We don't really want to comment much more about that because we don't know the facts and we don't know the ins and outs, so it's not really for us to say more, apart from we're thinking of you guys and we for those families that are affected.
Yep, so that's I think that rounds most things up, doesn't it?
I think it does, yeah. So looking forward to this. Enjoy your Father's Day. If you hope you had a great weekend. And let's talk to Grace and Ant.
Yep. So here is Grace and her dad, Ant Westgarth.
And it's good to have you both on. So welcome, and thanks for joining us. So I guess one of the first, we first all met back in February 2020, all those years ago. And you've come on a long way, and you've done loads of different things, whether it's diving, jumping out of a plane, and all sorts of things, and photography, and you're now at uni. So that's really cool. And I'm sure some of your followers on Instagram will be following, will be listening to this as well. But for people who probably don't know you, what does, and this question to Grace, go for you first. What does diving mean to you? What does it actually mean when you're underwater?
Well, I mean, I've been thinking about it a lot the past few weeks because, genuinely, I've done more diving in the past few weeks at uni than the past couple of years, just because home for us is London, which is quite difficult to actually get diving. It normally involves more of a more organisation and a lot more time. But where I am for uni at the moment it's so easy and simple to go and dive now. So yeah, the past few weeks I've just been generally so happy. It just brings, like, being underwater just makes me so relaxed, so calm. And yeah, I literally don't know what I'll do without diving. It's kind of incredible that we were able to find exactly what I feel like. This is so cheesy, but this is what I was meant to do. I just love it so much. And I just hope that, at some point I can use or make diving my work and kind of use it to make a difference.
That's brilliant. Yeah. So what level of diving have you reached at this point in time?
So at the moment, I'm a NACE Worldwide Master Diver, which is actually quite interesting because no one has ever heard of that training agency.
No.
No, it's a bit of a random one, but it all kind of came about. One of our instructors was kind of in the American scene, like he knew a few people from America, and it's actually an American training agency.
What was the name?
And they were trying to NACE Worldwide, so NASE.
Right.
And yeah, so I think they were trying to introduce it to the UK scene.
Yeah, they're a bit like who was the chap you had on a few weeks ago?
UTD.
UTD.
Jeff Secondor.
Yeah. I listened to that one. I listened to that cast the other day, and he was talking about, like, their agency, sort of big in America, big in Korea, and this is something. There's NACE was very much the same. They're sort of very big in America, or quite big in America, bigger probably in Korea, and a little bit in Italy as well.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons, I think, the main reason that we ended up sort of going with, as I said, we had a chap over here who was trained here, who's actually going to become their UK director, basically, and he offered Grace to do the training up to Master Diver. They actually adapted their Master Diver course as a junior course specifically for Grace. Because obviously there's a few things that you normally leave that you can't do at the age she was at the time, 13, like deep and stuff like that. It was a good move. But one of their big things is they advocate all skills being done neutrally buoyant.
Yeah.
And that was sort of before Raid were really coming onto the scene, and anybody else had actually ever sort of thought about it. So and she wanted to do it, so we went, let's give it a go.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, getting a bit outside the norm, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, I did like their way of teaching. I thought it was quite good. And we started off with PADI back in the day. We both PADI open water to advanced, but I did rescue and Master Diver with NACE. But then that was 7 years ago, so I was 13 then. But sort of since, I've just been doing other little random courses. I'm kind of going more in the direction now if I want to progress to do tech stuff. but yeah, so I think the last major course that I did, I would say, was my side mount a couple of years ago, which I just enjoyed a lot.
Yeah, that's what I want to do next is side mount. I'd like to do that.
Yeah. So in your
you love it, don't you?
Yeah. So are you diving side mount as normal, as standard now?
No, with the university course, a lot of the time we're I think it's not really in their insurance. They hadn't counted side mount into that. So normally I just dive back mount with uni. But whenever I can, I've done a few side mount dives this year. So
great.
Yeah, it's good practice.
Yeah. What about you, Ant? How did you do your diving? How did you start out? Did you do exactly the same as
Grace? Well, it was with Grace. I mean, it was, I'm going to say, go back 10 years now. And probably Grace's mum has got to have some, my wife has got to have some credit for this as well. We went on holiday quite a bit to Egypt she was probably about 5 years old the first time we went to Egypt. And to be honest with you, it was like she always wanted to be in the water, even back then, always wanted to be in the water one way or another. I actually used to, every afternoon we were off down to the beach. I had a fantastic house reef, always snorkeling, doing whatever. And I had a snorkeling probably from the age of 4, which we just got because she was always in the water, we just got a small snorkeling set. And probably one of the funniest things I actually remember having her in the water. And at first, all you could hear was screaming through the snorkel. Like there was a lot of screaming and sort of like happy screaming.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the next thing, she's just poodling around this little rock pool, being like this little pool in the sea. And the next thing you can hear, I could hear singing coming out of it, and that's where I thought, she likes this,
Yeah.
So every year we went to Egypt and we was in the sea every afternoon in the sea. She was interested in everything there was to do with it. Got to the age of 10, as I say, my wife was probably the one that actually turned around and went, "Do you fancy doing the diving course while we're here?" And I'll be honest, by then I was probably 47, something like that. And I was very much the same. I always prefer to be underwater than on the top of the water. Never really sort of had the excuse to do scuba diving before that. Probably, just from the point of view of having access to it and things like that.
Yeah.
So I thought, why not? And Grace said yes, and that's where we started. It's 10 years ago, out in Egypt. We had a dive centre at the hotel. There's some good guys there as well, and there was a good the teacher was good there. And we had a really quite a sort of a usual sort of 4 or 5 day intro into it, and done all the requisites that you need to do, and that was it. She came away as an open water diver before she left primary school, and
wow.
When she got back, it was just such a cool thing, for someone to do. As I say, my side of it was I just loved it. It was just something I wanted to do. I was brought up in 60s, 70s, Jacques Cousteau and everything like that. I always, swam underwater all the time, and probably like my dad was the same. He was first person I see I can remember doing probably a length and a half of a swimming pool underwater without taking a breath.
Wow.
And that was like, sort of, that used to blow my mind at the time, and I was always trying to emulate him. And even when we used to be in the pool all the time, it was like, she's on the back, go on, Dad, get under, and I'm sort of underneath the water swimming along. She's grabbing her, she's holding on around my neck, sort of thing, and that's really where it all came from. And as I say, 10 years ago we did the course, and it was fantastic. It was probably the best thing we ever did together.
Yeah. It was such a thing to share it, father and daughter.
Yeah. I don't think, that open water course, as much as I loved being underwater at the time, like it was so overwhelming with all the like, 'cause all the kit's obviously massive. Like I was tiny. And we'd done stuff in the pool and it was fine because I felt really safe. But then as soon as I got in the water, I was really scared. I remember having a bit of a freak out on the first dive on the surface.
Yeah.
I said to Dad, I was like, no, you do it by yourself. Just don't, I can't do it. And then
but then the instructor come along, didn't he? He just said, we'll just go down a little way, just go underwater, take a few breaths, just calm yourself down, and we'll see how we get on. And that was it. Bang, she was off.
Yeah.
As soon as I'd done that was it. And that was,
Yeah, and it
really
is quite
something.
a big thing. Like you said, you were very young, tiny. You're not a mature person, and you've got all that gear on that's the same as an average.
So heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, literally, like physically, they did have to. Like, I couldn't stand up with the tank on because they were the big aluminium tanks. Like, just had to sit down and sort of like push me in.
Yeah. It was on a pontoon as well, so it's moving about a bit as well.
Yeah.
So, but once she was in, as I say, she just took to it straight away.
Yeah, my daughter Honey, she's doing her open water this weekend with Crystal Seas, and last Thursday she had her first go in a dry suit, and she had all this weight on, and she went to get up, and she didn't get up.
Amazing.
She said, Dad, I've got so much weight on. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you're gonna need it.
I suppose that's it's a bit different doing it in the UK as well compared to in Egypt, because it was like, I remember when we came back and sort of continued, like we found a club here, and then obviously I got put in the dry suit, and it's completely different.
It is,
it was
a big step.
That was the difference. I think you had to fall in love with it again, didn't you, when we started doing it over here? But she was still pretty determined to do it. So
yeah. Well, it just shows you once you're under the water, the weight is not an issue, is it? And
no, exactly.
Yeah. Well, you've come a long way.
That feels like a very, very long time ago now.
Yeah, it does. 10 years.
Because you had to go on a rebreather as well, didn't you?
Yeah, so this was in I call this the mad 3 weeks. So there was a mad 3 weeks in 2021. 2021?
It was just at the end, because it was at the go diving show that they did at
like the road show,
NDAC, wasn't it? Yeah.
So there was a period of 3 weeks where I can't remember which way around it was, but it was like the skydive one weekend, rebreather try dive the next weekend, and then my first free diving course the weekend.
That's right, free dive.
So that was was absolutely insane. But I loved all of it, and every single each weekend I came away from it like, oh, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. I mean, rebreather is really odd. I loved it because it was so quiet. I mean, I know that's what everyone obviously the benefits of it are if you were filming or anything like that, you can get up really close to things. So I think in future I'm gonna need to do some training. But the buoyancy was a bit odd, not being able to control buoyancy just through breathing. It's weird.
I bet.
But it's great that you've kind of embraced the whole underwater thing, and you've done free diving as well, because we've spoken to so many people that scuba diving, they're scuba divers, and then they've gone into the free diving, and they've said it's really helped their scuba diving. So did you find any benefit?
I definitely think the whole the mindset with free diving is just completely different. I mean, there's obviously a lot of stereotypes around diving of I don't really know how to describe it, but divers kind of come out of the water, I don't know, have a couple beers, go and smoke, especially in the UK, I don't know.
We could say
and also a lot of the time, but it can be quite I feel with diving sometimes. Obviously it shouldn't be, but it sometimes can feel a bit rushed and a bit stressful on the surface before a dive. But free diving is completely the opposite. You have to really, really relax before a dive. Everyone's kind of calm, and yeah, I just found it really nice to. I do it a lot down in Falmouth now, because obviously it's a lot easier. There's not as much kit.
Mm-hmm.
You can literally just kind of free dive anywhere. But yeah, I find it really, really peaceful, and it does help diving, like breathing wise. I think I'm definitely just more conscious of my breath, and I know that out of everyone at uni, they are always surprised that I literally don't breathe a lot when I'm underwater. I always come out with like 50 bar more than everyone else.
Good.
I don't know if that's because I have small lungs or something, but yeah.
You've always been like that. Even she's always been like that. She's always had very good conservation rate for air, basically. You know, sort of. Everybody that goes in with you as well. I think she's just. I think the thing is, she's very calm. Mm. Yeah, and you know, the breathing techniques, as you say, with the free diving I think it does help.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something I want to do actually, because I don't know whether you know, but I haven't dived for some time now.
Right.
And there's possibly I doubt very much whether I'll be able to dive again, because I had a medical condition totally off the 2019. I just passed out in the office at work, and long story short, I ended up in the hospital for 3 weeks in a coronary care unit with and ended up with a implanted defibrillator and sort of pacemaking unit.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
No, there was no reason for it. No, they don't know whether it was like my arteries were all clear. I hadn't had any symptoms or anything like that. And it's a little bit like, you know, you get with these footballers and things like that. You know, that top sportsmen are just sort of. I'm top sportsman, absolutely not. But you know, they're just, you know, keel over on the pitch. You know, you know, for no reason.
You're born with.
Same sort of thing came around and ended up, you know, as I say, with this, because something has damaged my heart somewhere down the line. Don't know why. It's not. It could be genetic. We had to get Grace checked. Obviously, she was clear, so we're okay. You know, but we'll make sure she gets checked regularly. So, you know, so my sort of diving has sort of taken a dive. Excuse the pun. And I've been sort of hoping that, because I spoke to a dive doctor and he said best thing to do is give it time, which I have done, and I am sort of intent on going back to the doctor and doing, because most of them say that they think I'm fit enough to do it. I mean, certainly I go out.
Well, you're running, aren't you?
Running. Yeah, exactly.
Times as well, like 33 minutes. I saw.
Yeah.
You're definitely a hell of a lot fitter like now than like before as well. So I think that in a way you would be a lot more comfortable diving now.
Yeah.
If you kept to like shallow depths, you should be fine.
Yeah, and that's my sort of feeling as well. But it's that usual thing. It's whether I've got a bit of a trade off. You know, if they said yes, you're fit to dive, absolutely okay, fine. But I think a lot of professionals are always not that keen to do things like that because of the insurance aspect of it. You know, there's always that. You know, I'll probably not be able to get insurance or anything like that. So it's a bit of a in
the UK, subject. You should be all right, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you can be. I mean, I've doctors told me the doctors that I, you know, obviously saw originally, not diving doctors, basically just said, no, you can't dive again. And that was because of the fact that I had things like I had ventricular tachycardia, which is like, so it's the quite a bad arrhythmia.
So you've got
and that's one of the things
as well.
Yeah, that's one of the things that they worry about.
Yeah.
But I've actually, since it happened, I've never had, you know, I've not had another event, you know, and I don't, you know, I'm checked regularly, and, you know, they all say the same thing. No, you're absolutely fine. I call it my tune up now. So I go there and they tune me up, do you do any exercise? Yeah, I do exercise. Okay. And they say, okay, we'll just tweak it a bit to make sure it gives you like, better efficiency when you're running. So with that, like performance enhancing drugs and this unit, that's probably why I can run like I can now. So,
Has it got Bluetooth and you can pair it up to like
exactly.
like my zone or something?
Well, the main thing is you're healthy and
So, but going back to it, I was hoping that nobody's going to stop me from putting a mask on and a snorkel on and diving down underwater, because
no, exactly.
Who's going to stop me from doing it? Nobody, but I would still I'd like to do the free diving course.
Yeah.
Which again might be a bit of a compromise. I might have to go, I'm going to have to go and see a doc again and just say, look, what do you think? Because actually the unit itself, this little thing that sits here in my chest, is actually rated to 30 meters.
No way.
So, yeah. Because obviously they got to be robust anyway, but also there are instances where they use hyperbaric treatment outside of diving and things like that.
Yeah.
So they have to be able to sort of go to a certain depth, So
well,
so I've got the rating is 30 meters. Not that I'd probably want to do that in free diving because you've done it, haven't you?
Yeah, that's a bit of a push.
It's quite a way down that 30 meters.
So how
actually,
far?
It is a long way down.
How far have you got with your free diving, Grace?
Yeah, I mean, so last year, for context, I had a gap year. So I was basically just working and freediving. That's all I was doing. Because I did the course in 2021 and then just really loved it. So thought I want to progress as much as possible. So yeah, basic course I did first, and then I did my advanced freediver course. And after that, I kind of I'm on the path to becoming a freediving instructor. So I'm sort of reading up about it. I've really only got to shadow lots of courses now, actually teach the stuff. I've passed the skills side of it and theory side of it, but I've just got to actually teach because I haven't really taught anything before. So that's a bit of a learning curve. But I mean, last year was big freediving year. And as Dad just said, that was I think the last freediving session I did last year in a quarry, which was Vobster. I got 30 meters, I was happy with that, and I was like, I don't need to do any more yet.
That's amazing, Grace.
So time-wise, how long has it taken you to get to 30, then get back? Would you say?
I think that must have been about a minute and 10 seconds.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's really weird because on the surface we had to do static breath holds as well, and for instructor standards you need to do at least 3 minutes. So I think I got to about 3 minutes 10 static. But then that's when you're just floating, not doing anything. But then it's so different when you have to you're finning the whole way down and obviously the whole way up. It's a lot more effort. So you couldn't do a 3 minute dive, even though I can hold my breath for 3 minutes. 1 minute 10 about that.
That's amazing.
It is,
absolutely amazing. Yeah.
And you said that the other thing she said was as well at that depth as well. What was surprising is she couldn't equalize her mask.
Yeah, that was because I had basically all the air gets so compressed that it just physically, I've never really in scuba, because it's such a gradual change. You don't really notice how compressed everything is. And obviously you're breathing air, so you can use the air in your lungs to equalize all of the air spaces that you have. But in freediving, you don't have any extra air. No. So all of the air was compressed, and I got to 30 and I thought, oh my God, my mask is so tight on my face right now. So I don't know. Yeah, I definitely have got a lot of practice to do before I would go any further. But because that was a bit of a push. And a very, very fast swimmer.
That's good that you recognise that. I can imagine that must get a little bit addictive to push the limit a little bit with that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I do recognise that I did kind of do my freediving training quite quickly, but I wasn't doing a lot else. I was literally just doing freediving. I mean, I'd do breathing classes 2 or 3 times a week, and then hopefully go freediving 4 times a month, maybe at weekends.
Yeah.
So yeah, I basically went from nothing to that in a year, which was quite intense. But yeah, obviously, as long as you're comfortable with it, then there's nothing wrong with that. But
again, I have to blow her trumpet a little bit, because she sometimes gets, she doesn't always give everything, like the sort of facts why she ended up where she is. And as her dad, obviously, you know, her mum's the same. I just have to shout about her from the rooftops all the time. But the free diving course, the first free diving course she went on, all the instructors like went, "We hate her." I said, "Why?" "Well, she can equalise without pinching her nose," and it's like, you know, it's something that, you know, I think like professional free divers and things like that, it's you can either do it or you can't, or it takes a hell of a lot of training to be able to do it. She just got in, first one, she goes down, not even holding her nose, and she comes back up again, and the instructor's going, "Are you okay?" And they're going, she's going, "Yeah, fine." She says, "You didn't pinch your nose." She says, "No, I don't need to."
You're turning
And they're like, "Oh God, we really hate her." You know?
Well, I have read about something that's like that can, there's not been a lot of research behind it, because obviously it's such a niche thing, but it can be something to do with if you've been introduced into water at a young age, before you've like fully developed, your eustachian tubes can actually develop to be able to open and close on demand, rather than having to pinch your nose and blow. So it might have had something to do with
probably, because again, her mum and your nan as well was a swimmer, and when she was first born, one of the first things it says, "When you're going to get her booked in for swimming lessons," you know. She was in the pool from probably before you were 1, I think, wasn't it? We had her in the pool. So, you know, and my wife used to take her to like mum and toddler swimming classes locally and stuff like that. So she's always, you know, again, always been in the water. So.
Yeah, water baby. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, we're immersed in water in the womb, aren't we? We, you know, and there's been a long. Do you remember years ago they did this test with newborn babies, and they could breathe in the water, couldn't they?
Yeah, they literally chuck them in, or it's that natural reflex, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's just they can just go underwater, and they can. In fact, yeah, you're right. I think it's newborn babies can pretty much sort of hold their breath. Almost, you know, for extremely
we forget it as we get older.
Time. Yeah, we just forget how to do it.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. So university. So the course you're doing involves photography and diving.
Yeah, so it's maybe the longest course name ever. It's called Marine and Natural History Photography, and it is. I mean, when I found it, I remember coming downstairs here, because I always sort of thought I didn't really want to go to uni. I'd never found a course that I really wanted to do. But our college told us, we should start looking at some courses and applying anyway. And when I found this one, I came downstairs and I was like almost crying. So I just had seen a promo video for it. And in the video, they had people diving with cameras and like in the Red Sea and doing all this cool stuff. And it was, I thought, okay, maybe I will go to uni. But yeah, honestly, it's been a fantastic year. It involves, I mean, for the first half of it, we didn't do any diving. So even though marine is the first word in the title of the course, you don't have to be a diver to go on the course. So it's actually only an optional extra to do the diving part. But the marine side of it also, they teach you how to use like surf housing. So like you could take photos, do surf photography, or they do have some other underwater like camera housings that you can use for taking photos in rock pools and stuff, because obviously that's big in Cornwall. But yeah, so you can do the marine side without actually being a scuba diver.
Yeah.
But I obviously have been just looking forward to the diving part the whole time, and we eventually started about 2 months ago, and it's been incredible learning how to use the underwater housings with the proper like strobes and everything. It's been very difficult. I didn't really realize how hard underwater photography is. So I sort of have been around people that have taken amazing photographs and made it look so easy quite a lot.
Yeah.
But now that I've actually had a go, it's proven to be a lot more demanding than I thought it would be. But it has been, really amazing.
I mean, saying that, I mean, even going back a few years, because she's always wanted to do, we've always taken films like most people had, something like GoPro cameras and things like that. We also she had a little compact Nikon camera as well, which was really good. Go down to 30 meters, couldn't it? Without a housing, and it was a great camera. And she got some actually really good shots, and we're talking back in 5-6 years ago. Some of the shots you were taking then, I think some of them were really, sort of a good quality.
Yeah.
Of a sort of quality that you could easily, put in a magazine or something like that. She's, I think you're good. The photography side of things, she's a natural. I just feel she's natural at being able to, most people just point and shoot. That's me. It doesn't. She can see the composition of everything and actually be able to put a shot together, and then afterwards, then edit it to make it look really good.
Yeah.
And that's a sort of I would say, is a bit of an inbuilt talent, and where she's sort of honed a lot of what can I say, your sort of popularity, if you like, over the years, is because she started Instagram quite early, and got noticed by people quite early. And her first break really was Sarah Richards. Sarah Richards up on her from Girls at Scuba. Picked up on her when you was
probably
12, 13? No, it was 13.
13.
13. Yeah. And did a little article on her and said, like, write me something and we'll do a little article on there. Then it was like they had a website, didn't they, as well, because it was quite early days of Girls at Scuba as well. And which, sort of led to quite a few things, plus as well, then eventually becoming one of their inaugural ambassadors as well, which was a great thing. That was like, again, just another achievement that, we could sort of never wish for anything better for her, because she's just like, everything she's done with a passion and just put everything into it,
But it's quite easy to do that when you enjoy it. Yeah, I think that's the one thing. That's why I always. It looks like my Instagram is. You've probably heard that Instagram is just a highlight reel of people's lives, and it really is. It's just like all of the good things that haven't gone on my Instagram. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely helped me to get a lot of exposure in the diving world, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very easy to do when I enjoy doing it. I like taking photos. I like editing photos. I like writing little things about what I've done. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that's good, and it really is a foundation for your future then. So with the World Ocean Day Youth Advisory Council, that's quite a new thing as well, isn't it? Because I think when we saw you at the Go Diving show, you were talking about that. So how
that again was, I just saw that World Ocean Day, I can't remember if it was World Ocean Day themselves or someone else reposted it, but World Ocean Day every year open up an application to get youth advisory council members. Basically anyone who I don't know the age range, but I would say it's under 25s. Anyone who's got an interest in the ocean can apply. You go through a little process, and basically once you've been accepted through the process, they take you through a course, which I learned so much from the course, but basically because everyone's all over the world, so people represent different countries. I obviously represent England, but yeah, so people all over the world get on a Zoom call, have training about advocacy, how to use social media, conservation practices, loads and loads and loads of stuff, basically.
Wow.
And we had like masterclasses from like National Geographic explorers and stuff. It was great.
Wow.
And at the end of it, the aim is to basically, no matter how big or small it is, but like have an event for World Ocean Day, and basically spread awareness about the organisation, but also just the ocean in general. And yeah, so that's what my friend Rada and I were doing at the Go Diving show. We just wanted to talk a bit about what World Ocean Day is. But the story of how I met her was quite funny, actually.
Yeah, because her friend is also a youth advisory or youth council.
Yeah,
but where's she from?
So Rada represents Bulgaria.
Yeah.
And I'd seen her on the website because they published, like, each person had a little bio of like who they are and where they represent on the World Ocean Day site. And I remember reading everyone's, and obviously I saw hers and that she was Bulgarian, but it didn't actually say like where she was studying. I knew that she was studying like a marine related course, but I didn't know where. And then all of a sudden I just moved into uni and I was in my kitchen, and then I turn around and she's literally in my kitchen. I was like, wait, what? Why is she here? And I thought I really recognised her, and she said, "Oh, is that Grace?" And it turns out she's at Exeter Uni, and I'm at Falmouth Uni, but we share a campus, and she's on my campus and happens to work. She has a job as like a uni rep or whatever, and she basically goes around to all the first year's flats and makes sure that everyone's okay.
Cool.
Yeah, so we ended up really randomly meeting, and it's been amazing because I don't think I would have been able to do the event that I've just done. We sort of made it together in our like local, it's almost an event space kind of town hall type thing.
Falmouth, yeah.
In Falmouth, we put on a little event for all the locals. It was almost like an assembly where we came together and we just had a discussion, open discussion, got into groups, and talked about how we can sort of my brain is
improve things.
improve the
that's
state
really
of the ocean and marine life locally. But yeah, so it was great, and I wouldn't have been able to do it if she wasn't with me. So
yeah. So it's a meant to be meeting, wasn't it?
yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So have you got any anything coming up where you're going to be doing more about the World Ocean Day? Sort of...
Yeah, so I mean, World Ocean Day is on June the 8th.
Yeah.
I say unfortunately, nothing's unfortunate, but I won't be in or around the ocean on the 8th because I'm working. But
she's got her money now to feed all this.
Yes.
yeah, well, I am in fact feeding a trip to Egypt in December. So that's what I'm earning, saving up for at the moment. But yeah, World Ocean Day is on June the 8th. It's sort of, so World Ocean Day is an organisation. The main message is that although World Ocean Day is on June the 8th, it should be World Ocean Day every day. This is the kind of the thing that they try and push so hard. But if anyone does want to do events on World Ocean Day website, they have loads and loads of free resources. So literally you can go on there and everything is free. Like they give you loads of ideas, posters, social media, like sort of they've got already made up social media posts that are like ready to put on Instagram. And a lot of places that do that, they actually end up they're not great, but these ones they look really nice, and I would definitely be happy to post them. But yeah, so, and also there is an events map. So if you go onto World Ocean Day, and go on their map, you can look at your local area and see if anyone's like submitted an event that they're doing that you could attend on or around June the 8th. So that would be good to look at. And I think, I know RADA's got a few things planned in Bulgaria.
It's great. It's a worldwide event, isn't it?
Yeah, it's literally all over the world. And you'll be surprised, there are some literal tiny islands in the middle of nowhere that are having World Ocean Day events happening on. And it could be anything. It doesn't have to. You don't have to be by the ocean to have an event for World Ocean Day. It's all about just spreading awareness. So unfortunately, I won't be doing an event on the day because we've sort of already done our event, but it's still, I will be posting about it, definitely.
Yeah, no, that's really good.
I think that'd be good if we put some like maybe a couple of like a trailer out about this, because this episode will go out, as Gemma said earlier, on the Monday afterwards. That we could probably put a few bits and pieces out before that to tie in with that date would be good.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's just getting the awareness out there of people knowing that this is a specific day that happens every year as well.
It's a really good thing. I was like, I was surprised because again, I mean, it's the charity is American, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is an American-based charity, but the fact that they're doing it, they do it worldwide. Obviously,
it's really good.
The thing, it's probably not as well known over here, I would say. And it probably does need a bit more pushing over here, because one of their big messages is the 30 by 30 thing, which you'd probably go to explain better. But
it's basically 30 by 30 is like the global aim that they have. World leaders kind of have agreed now, but obviously we don't know if that's obviously going to get taken forward. But it's the agreement to protect 30% of lands, waters and ocean by 2030.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So obviously that's a big target because at the moment there's probably less than 10%. But we hope that can happen. I think that's the aim of World Ocean Day the past couple of years has been to kind of get people to recognise that 30 by 30 campaign and like hold their local councillors or like MPs accountable and like actually make sure that they do stick to it.
No, well that's good. And it just brings it out there, puts it out there for anybody that hasn't heard about World Ocean Day, because I think,
where to go.
No, that'd be really good. And it must have helped at the Go Diving show to do your talks and promote it a bit more, because you had all the t-shirts on and everything, and you've got a ready-made audience there, haven't you?
That was Rada said that, because Rada isn't a diver, so going to a dive show with me was she was actually really kind of
I think she might learn.
Surprised. What was that, sorry?
Do you think she might learn?
Oh yeah, I've tried to convince her. And I think she will. She really wants to do it. She's got. I did kind of point her in the right direction of a full filament wetsuit as her first wetsuit, because she lives in Cornwall but doesn't own a wetsuit, which I thought, wow, she needs one. But so she's been in the water a lot more now, and I know she loves it. I mean, she does want to dive. But Rada was really surprised at how big the UK diving scene is. I mean, like, I suppose to someone who isn't a diver, you don't really see many divers around. It's not a huge sport. So going to the Go Diving show and seeing how, like, what a huge event it is, and especially this year, obviously.
Yeah, it was really big this year as well.
Each year it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. But so it was great to have the audience already that did care. I think a lot. If it was anywhere else, it would have been a bit harder to get people to come and listen. But no, we had a good audience there.
And of course, they had a big section this year as well, didn't they, for UK diving, which was really good.
Again, it's something. We started off in another country, but naturally, you want to come back, and if you do get into it, you want to be able to dive where you are, and we have got some fantastic diving here. And where, you know, and Cornwall is just like a dream, you know, it's unbelievable.
I have really like it down in Cornwall. I've definitely fallen in love with it again, because we've been, a lot of the diving that we used to do here in the UK was all because the quarries are closest to us, so we just did quarry diving almost exclusively. We didn't do much sea diving, and when we did do sea diving, it was all a bit like new and like off a boat. So it's definitely a bit different.
We did some really, I mean, probably one of our favourite sea dives, which is probably about the nearest one of decent diving for us, was at Chelsea. Chelsea Bill down on the south coast, which has got some absolutely fantastic diving and sea life, and you just wouldn't think it, you know. When you show people, you know, you take some photos and you show people and they go, "What, that's here?" And you say, "Yeah, this is the UK." Another good one as well is under Swanage Pier. Swanage Pier is like being it's like being abroad, you know. It is just fantastic.
We're hoping to do that.
And, you know, you show people pictures from it and they go, "Is that in the UK?" You say, "Yeah, it's in Swanage." You know, they go, "Really?" You know, and it's just something else, really, when you think about it like that. You know, I know we have. The only thing we will say is that as you well know as well, it's the fact that, you know, you have to take your chances with UK diving, don't you? You know, because more often than not, you know, all the plans are made, and at the last minute, that's it.
The weather comes
so
in.
you're going on a walk instead of a dive, sort of thing. So you know, and that's happened plenty of times. You just got to persevere with that side of it. But
but then when it really happens, you really appreciate it, and you know, it's just magical, isn't it?
Absolutely, So UK, I've not yet actually. I need to get, because I need a new wetsuit as well, which is my sort of aim, to buy myself a new wetsuit. She's got a reasonable discount with Full Balance, so I'll be onto them for a wetsuit soon, but. I've got to. I want to be getting in down in Cornwall probably later on when we go back.
They do some nice stuff, don't they?
Yeah. Well, in September when we go back, when she goes back, we're going to probably have a few days down there as well as a break, and I was planning on getting in the water then. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, it'll still be lovely and warm, won't it? The sea. So.
Well, that's the thing as well. It's towards the end, isn't it? So it's the sea's warmed up by then as well. So.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's just an amazing journey you've had, Grace, and you've got so much ahead of you as well.
Yeah, I'm excited for the next 2 years, especially because I mean, this course, I feel like it's only just really got started. I mean, the past 4 weeks, I've been diving. You can probably, I don't know if you can see it on the Zoom. I've actually got a line where my dry suit's been because I've been in it so much. But it's really just got started. So photography wise, I'm definitely looking forward to next term. We're learning the bigger DSLR cameras with like multiple strobe setups and stuff. So I'm just like in gear heaven at the moment as well, because we get access to all of this stuff once we've passed the certain levels. Once we've done the training with the cameras, we can basically take them out and dive with them whenever we want, which will be really nice. And I feel like I have been kind of waiting for this course for the past
long time.
Yeah, for the past 10 years, kind of. So,
and are they keeping to like a particular brand of cameras? Or do they sort of mix and match?
They at the moment we're using Olympus's for the first level. So Olympus for the first level. I think the second level is Canon, but they are looking to upgrade. They've been kind of giving us hints that they're upgrading this year, so we might have some nice new cameras. I think potentially Sony's, which is what I have for like my on-land camera is a Sony, which I love. But they've all of the housings are all Nauticam housings, which you might have seen their stand at the dive show. I've always wanted to.
Great big setup.
I've always wanted. I mean, I've always wanted to have an underwater camera set up, but the only issue is it's just very expensive.
And my daughter has always been involved in gear heavy sports. So it's something I've always said, like anything she does has got a large amount of equipment involved in it. Mm-hmm. Even down to things like, playing hockey. She couldn't just be a hockey player and have a hockey stick. She has to be the goalie. That's like several hundred quid's worth of gear there on its own. It's like everything she did. Even going back to when she was very small, and she wanted to learn an instrument. In the first, she said, "What would you like to, what musical instrument would you like to learn?" She went, "I want to play the harp."
Is that not the most random
thing? Can you believe that?
For like the flute.
6 years old, something like that. I want to play the harp. So we had to go and rent or hire a harp for her, a half-sized harp. Yeah, because you're obviously a big one. They can't even reach it. She could just barely reach this one, So, so it was like, okay. And she did that for a while, but it was, I've got to be honest, I mean, there was a bit of a sigh of relief when she sort of packed that one in, to be honest with you. Because, we first got it out of the conservatory and it was costing us a fortune.
But still, Mum won't let me forget that, because every time we see an orchestra on TV, she's like, "Oh, that could have been you."
There we go. So, could have been, but it's not. I'm into diving.
But I mean, you can imagine what my uni room is like, because I have all the dive kit that was all under my bed, and then the hockey goalkeeping kit like stuffed in the corner, the camera stuff under the desk, like it was completely packed. Yeah.
So what is the ultimate goal though? When you leave uni, what's the ultimate goal?
Yeah, I mean, well, I've always said what my dream would be, in an ideal world, would be like filming kind of Attenborough level stuff. Yeah. But realistically, I know that, I mean, David Attenborough is 97 or something, a bit old now, and also the direction of TV at the moment isn't really, like, it's not really certain the future of TV, because obviously everything's moving to streaming services, all that kind of stuff. So basically, my goal is to have a job where I can work making content, if that's like underwater or on land, kind of wildlife, lifestyle based stuff. I'll be happy with it, and if I can kind of use it in a good way, that'd be nice. So obviously I do enjoy conservation. I'd like to take that a bit further, but I'm very new to conservation. I don't have a lot of knowledge in that background. But I would like to take that further. But I also enjoy writing, so again, like doing the kind of articles and stuff. I wouldn't mind being like a travel like writer or something like that. Anywhere that I can take photos.
Get a following.
I mean, that is
following, and you're building that up. You can, and you're doing that, aren't you? So who you kind of like taking inspiration from, who are out there, who you're kind of thinking, well, is there anyone in particular, or a handful of people?
Yeah, a few people spring to mind. I mean, my favorite people I would say that I've got to know in the industry at the moment is Ranva from Fourth Element, but obviously Ranva and Maria, I can never say her second name.
Maria Pollerup.
Those two are just both really great. I mean, I don't know if you've watched their talks about their expeditions that they've been on, and they're planning another one. It's just absolutely incredible, blows my mind. Also, Ellen Kulliot. I love her. She's great. Also went on the expedition. Kind of that whole team. They all take amazing photos, and they're all just doing really, really cool diving. And for a good reason as well. The expeditions have had a really good cause behind them, and that's something that I'd love to be a part of, like in future, doing things like that.
And I have to say as well, those three in particular, especially Ellen and Ranva and Maria, they have all been so encouraging of Grace. They really they really like Grace, and actually have sort of encouraged her, and actually come up and made the effort to actually contact her. It's not her going to them, they've come to her. I mean, the first time we met Ellen, which was at the NDAC Go Diving Roadshow, She actually sought Grace out. Ellen came across and said, "Are you Grace?" And she said, "I've been wanting to meet you for such a long time."
I know.
I
cannot tell you how excited I was because
my
jaw hits the floor, sort of thing. What me?
Because obviously I followed them for such a long time, just like on Instagram and stuff, and seeing all their, especially Ellen, like she's an incredible photographer.
Yeah.
So for her to like come and know who I was a bit like, oh my god.
And still now you talk to them quite regularly, don't you, as well?
And especially Ranva being down. Ranva lives in Cornwall at the moment because that's where Fourth Element is based. So yeah, we keep saying we need to get on a dive soon.
Yeah, you must.
But she's always in another country doing really cool stuff. Yeah.
But also it's amazing. The women, the girl diving scene is just so strong, and they're not just divers; they're really, really, inspiring divers, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're really good role models. I've got to be honest.
They are.
They're really good role models, I'll be honest. I mean, again, this is the sort of thing in Ian as well. You're probably with your daughter, Honey. I think you can do a lot worse than this sort of thing, because there are the industry is, although you say it is big, but it's quite niche and it's quite small, and the people within it I've found are very, very approachable. The majority are very, very approachable and easy to speak to, and they're interested, and want to give advice. And even down to the first time, she's had quite a few experiences at the Go Dive show. The first time around, the first one we've done, Jill Heinert was there, and she got to interview Jill Heinert. She did a little video interview at the time, and Jill afterwards just said, "You want anything, you just contact me." She gave her a contact details, and you walk away, things like that. And you think, okay, you might not ever speak to them again or whatever, but the fact that they've actually said that to you,
they've taken the time,
and willing to sort of, and I've always said it's a great thing to have. And I think, you say your daughter, if she gets into anything through diving, there is just
I would love it if she did, and I really hope so. She tells, she talked to me about it. She talked to her mum about it. It would be pretty amazing if she did. My son, he was getting that way, and then he got into like football and computers, and he's not really that keen at the minute. But she's like always loved the water, and very much like Grace, and I'm kind of hoping that she does it. It will be something that she then carries on.
So something rolls on.
That'd be an awesome, life for her. And I think diving for people, especially children, and as they go through school and uni and what have you, that adds another element of jobs as well, doesn't it? What else they can do.
I mean, it's not for everybody.
No, it's not.
It isn't for everybody, and I don't think. As with anything, you can't push anyone into doing anything, or you shouldn't push anyone into doing anything, especially your kids, because I think that's the worst thing you can do. We just supported Grace with what she loves doing, and it's, that I think that's the best thing you can do, But as I said, going back to the original thing is that I think in the diving industry, you get your good and bad, but in general, I think, especially for younger divers as well, because there is that, we need younger divers. I think people were there. A lot of the sort of the known people, well-known people were there, and will quite easily pick up and speak to the youngest people just to impart any knowledge that they've got. Just to help them go forward with what they want to do. I think it's a really good thing. It surprised me in the last 10 years of being able to actually experience it myself, because I'm there, and her mum's been there, and sort of met these people, sort of all these different people, and people that you quite often see on the telly, you see people like Monty Halls, for instance, and Andy Talbot, Andy's sort of always spoke to Grace several, going back to the sort of original go diving shows and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's really sort of
they are approachable.
It's a really good thing, and there's plenty of people willing to help as well.
Yeah. Yes. And it's
so I have to go back even to John at Otter Water Sports, was the sort of thing that when she was getting to a point where the journey has been mainly second-hand equipment, because there's two of us doing it. It's expensive, so I was sort of buying good bits of equipment here and there. We're gradually building stuff up over a period of years. Got her a dry suit, which was an Otter dry suit, not a new one. It was second-hand, but she started growing out of that, and she had a sort of, this is the one that I want. You've probably seen pictures of her in it, because she's always in it. It's the is it the light ultralight?
Yeah.
It's got a front zip, orange flashes on it. Had to be orange. Had to be this. Had to be that.
Is that your favourite colour?
Literally everyone now knows me just for being the orange girl. Like I have so much orange stuff.
That, funnily enough, though, the white mask came before all of that. She always had a white mask as well. First mask she bought white, and she's always stuck with the white mask. Yeah.
Wow.
But and we went to Otter, John at Otter, and they, he went out of his way to do, a really good deal for her for that dry suit and everything.
Yeah, they're a family firm, aren't they?
And again, they're all approachable, and again, especially for the younger people as well, for the younger divers, because they're the ones that are going to be buying the products going forward.
Yeah,
that's right. They're the future of diving, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
it's excellent, and the passion and inspiration that comes from you both is just amazing.
So I still, whatever, I live it through her now to a degree, but I still love it. I still love the whole ethos around it and everything.
Well, you guys are a team, and that definitely shows, and we're seeing that every time our paths cross, whether it's a go dive or NDAC and what have you. I hope I kind of take inspiration from you guys with hopefully how I'll be with Honey, and and be a supporter for her, as she hopefully gets into diving, hopefully. So see where we are and in time. But we've got some set questions, and it'd be good to get your answers on the usual set questions that we like to ask people. So we'll share these out across here. Okay. So how about Grace? 3 people who you would like to take in the water. Who would you pick?
Take in the water. Whoa. Okay. So the first person that came to my mind that I've just spoke about was Rada. I feel like that. Yeah, that would be great if I could.
Has she not snorkeled at all?
Do you know what? I don't know if she has. I feel like she must have snorkeled at some stage. But she hasn't dived. She hasn't I haven't been in the water with her.
Yeah, she needs.
So she definitely. Rada. Ooh. Who else? It's a tough question. Maybe.
It's funny. I'd heard the question. I've heard the question before, actually, and I'll be honest. So just to add on to it, it was your question. But from my point of view, because I was thinking, who would I take? But the one person I would take would be my dad.
Oh.
Yeah. We lost my dad in December.
Right.
Last year,
I'm sorry.
He'd had dementia for probably, it was over 10 years, 15 years or so, something like that. And so he sort of saw Grace starting out diving and saw a few things, but I know, because he was the one, as I said to you earlier on, he was the one that he was always underwater, and I was always sort of emulating what he was doing as far as that was concerned. And I know he would have loved it. it's the sort of thing he really would have loved. So
Yeah.
that would be my one, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah,
you can see Grace kind of living that out for him as well. That's that's such a nice legacy, really.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of many people that haven't already been in the water, because I sort of surround myself with mainly people that are all divers already. But I definitely have a couple of friends that I can think of that I would like to get in the water.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like famous people that could be in the water.
Difficult to say.
Great dad. And have you got any others?
Yeah, has anybody?
Yeah, that's what I think. I sort of the way, as I said, I mean, Dad was the sort of top of the list, and then the others, I was just thinking, because I think the normal thing is to come back to the people like Jacques Cousteau and people like that. You'd like to go to a dive with these people who are so famous.
Yeah.
But I think I'd probably actually come back and just say, I'd like to take anybody that would just like to try it.
Yeah.
That's got an interest in it and has never done it. And I'd say, no, come and take the plunge. Let's go and I'll take you for a dive. That would be great, because you're just introducing people to what is just a fantastic thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's giving them the opportunity, isn't it? Just give it a go.
Yeah.
So in terms of, it doesn't have to be diving, but is there anything that takes you out of your comfort zone? You both can answer that one.
Yeah, I definitely find public speaking very scary. Like at the dive shows and stuff, I am an absolute nightmare to be around before. I am so grumpy, it's unbelievable. Like the morning before I do anything at dive shows or whatever, I can't eat. I just get all like, don't talk to me. But I really enjoy it, so I think it's definitely a good thing to kind of push myself to do, and that's why I always say yes to these things and kind of make sure that I keep doing it, so that hopefully one day I'll get better at it.
I'd sort of emulate that as well, because public speaking is never something I've been, sort of something that I would do. Be the first one to put myself forward, but I'm good at supporting her with it. I'll sit in the background and go, just remember this, remember that, knowing that it's not going to be me that's having to do it.
No, that's good answers. Good answers. Yeah.
Okay, another team effort on this one then. Okay, so we like to give our listener a nugget, a life hack, whatever you like. Doesn't have to be about diving. Be great if it is. Have either of you got a nugget that our listener could take away from listening? A point of learning.
Yeah, I'd actually probably go. I think it's go back to what we was probably just previously speaking about. It doesn't cost anything to ask.
No.
It costs nothing to ask. So if you've got any questions about anything at all, it doesn't have to be diving, but we've probably, covered this, just ask people. It don't matter who it is.
It doesn't even have to be in person.
No.
You could just do it like through Instagram or
it is actually
messages,
that's the thing now. It's that easy, isn't it? We
Yes.
never, I go back to when I was younger, didn't have all this communication ability that we've got now. And it is so easy just to ask, and I think it's, if you're interested, but from her point of view, we've always pushed her down the line of saying, you do what you want to do, and I think that's something else that I would say to anybody. You've got to sort of follow your dreams to a degree, and we're lucky enough to be able to sort of again support her in that.
Good.
But just ask. I think that's my biggest thing is if you've got a problem, or whatever, go and ask someone.
And like you say, it's so easy with social media these days. It didn't exist, but now it's just like a couple of clicks, and you've put it out there. You're not necessarily going to get, some people won't answer, but at least that is a line of communication.
Yeah, absolutely. You got the opportunity to do it, haven't you?
No, great answers. So the final question is, if you could put a billboard out to the whole entire world, can be an image, a video, picture, statement, what would you put on your billboard and why?
Ooh, okay. I would probably I would want something that would just make everyone smile, I think. Because what we've been learning at uni has been, with the marine side of things, is that you should be an ocean optimist, not a pessimist. Because like, it's so easy to say that the world is ending and like everything's going downhill, and but then that makes no one like happy. That doesn't make a difference, because then everyone isn't going to want to do anything. So yeah, I'll probably put big picture. What would I put? I'd put a big picture of, it would have to be something really cute and funny. Like, I saw a good my friend's profile picture. That is it. My friend's profile picture on WhatsApp is a big smiling puffer fish.
Do you know what? I was thinking puffer fish.
Puffer fish. Yeah, it's literally like the face of a puffer fish. I'd have it huge on a billboard, and it would probably say something like, I don't know, smile at the top. Smile like this puffer fish.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
It's a long thought process, but I got there eventually.
Yeah, but it's got to be, you know, you're exactly right. You do have to smile, and you've always got to see the bright side.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. How about you, Ant?
Otherwise, that's a really difficult one.
Put my face on it.
Yeah, funny enough, as she was sitting there, it'd probably have to be Grace's face, big smile. In fact, I just made a comment on a post that she did. One of her colleagues, students,
a friend,
took a lovely photograph of her at Port Keris on Friday, because they were diving there for 2 days.
Yeah,
and it really is a really natural photograph. And I just mentioned the fact that she's always smiling.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I would sort of go down that line. If it was going to be a billboard, I just have to have her smile there, because it is infectious.
Nice.
No, that's really, really good answer. And yeah, I don't think we've had that one before, have we?
No, I don't think we have.
No, but that is really positive and happy, and exactly the way the podcast has come across. With you both, it's been really, really good. So if people want to find out more about you, where is the best place for them to go?
Definitely Instagram. I know I've mentioned it many times before. At Scuba Grace. That is it. I don't really use much else at the moment.
She's got a photography one that's linked on that one, which shows photography from stuff you've been doing at uni as well, and stuff. She wrote me a little while ago, and you said, I've just spent, how long was it?
It was hours and hours, like 4 hours.
Probably
maybe.
Like having a massive clear out, getting everything off of it and starting again pretty much.
So I basically had about 1,400 photos or something on there, because I've had this photography account since I was like 13.
Wow.
And obviously the ones at the very bottom were shocking. Like, they were so bad. So I literally just thought, right, no, I want this to be my best work.
But every good photographer's got those sort of photos, because you've got to start somewhere, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, it was quite nice to see my progression. So I haven't deleted them; they are in the archive. But now it's I'm gradually building that up again. So I will try and start building that a bit more.
She's very critical of her stuff as well.
Oh,
we're more sort of parents, both myself and my wife, like, both look at it and go, wow, that's just like wow, and
nothing's ever. I'm a perfectionist.
But she'll just like look at it and go, I'm not sure about that. I need to do this with it, and that one won't ever see the light of day. And but most of the stuff she does is like sort of knocks our socks off, basically. So,
that's amazing to hear. And we're amazed, and really proud of how your journey has shaped up. From knowing you from 2020 and where you are now, it's just been awesome to watch. And your dad's support is just amazing. And yeah.
No, I mean, I'm really grateful for your guys' support. I love seeing you at the dive shows, and like, we were talking before this, I can't believe it was already 3 years ago since
He's
we
one
had,
of our
like,
first guests.
Yeah, like it was me, was it May and Inca?
Yeah.
I mean, and it's incredible seeing what they're doing now as well. I know May is like working with Silverback Productions, and Inca is doing some crazy like brand deals and stuff with Fat Face and working, doing all that cool stuff. So yeah, it was great that I got that time on your podcast as well to sort of talk to them, and yeah, it was great. Thank you very much.
No, you're very welcome.
No,
and
very welcome.
No, you're
thanks for dragging the old man on as well.
Hey, you're part of the team, so you're
yeah,
important.
and it's quite fitting because it's kind of coming up to Father's Day as well, so it's another way to sort of promote.
I forgot about that.
Is it?
When is Father's Day? Look,
I didn't know that.
This is just when is it?
It's for that in the calendar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, right, I have to look that one up.
Yeah, don't forget that.
What are you getting?
Yeah.
Oh, I have thought of another name actually to I don't know whether you may follow her already, Becky Kagan Scott, one of our previous guests.
Amazing. Yeah.
Her photos are
Some
really
of the scans that she's posting today about a scan of a B-24 Liberator. Amazing quality.
Yeah, I know, they're unbelievable, aren't they?
Yeah. On top of water.
I could. That's another area, like the exploration area, especially sort of archaeology and stuff like that. It's an area that interests me greatly, and I can probably rattle on about it for quite a long time. But
that's good stuff that she's doing. So
really good. Yeah.
And
we actually Phil Short was another one that we met. Actually, it was the Explorers Club of Great Britain, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We went to one of their they have sort of quarterly sort of little meetings, but they're presentations basically. Somebody comes on and done something. Phil Short was there, John Kendall. Yeah. And they just do a talk, and Phil Short was doing this thing about he was working for, I think it's indirectly the American government to repatriate their lost airmen.
Yes.
Yeah. And that because they repatriate all of their armed forces people that have lost their lives in conflicts or whatever, wherever in the world, they will, put the money into repatriating them if they can. And he did a fantastic talk about one that a couple of planes that they investigated, wasn't it? It was absolutely unbelievable, well worth seeing.
Very interesting.
Yeah, very, very, very much so.
Yeah, and it just shows again that diving, it's not just jumping in the water. There are so many aspects and channels.
So many aspects.
Many
aspects to it.
Yeah. No, really interesting and exciting as well. So, so thank you very much for coming on the podcast, and it's been great to catch up. And I'm sure we'll catch up again, in the future as well. For your.
Oh, no doubt we will. Yeah,
that'd be good.
There's always another dive show, isn't there?
Yes, yeah. Well, it should be next February, I guess, won't it?
Yeah, February,
March.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, and we will hopefully see you at that next dive show.
Yeah.
Or if not
before.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll
good
make
luck to your
one day we'll jump.
Good luck to your daughter as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'd love to have a dive. Yeah.
You'll have to get yourself. I know where you are, but you need to get yourself down to Cornwall and
Swanage Pier. We got to do Swanage Pier.
Swanage Pier is a great one. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's definitely. We've got to try and do that this year.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks very much.
All right. See you soon.
It's great seeing you.
Thanks for coming on.
Really nice seeing you.
Yes.
Bye. See you.
Well, that was awesome.
Good to catch up with him again.
It was lovely to have them both on.
Yeah, and it's great to get Grace's dad involved as well, and just see what.
Oh, definitely, he's an important part of the team, isn't he?
Dive team, yeah.
And although he's got his health reasons why he can't at the moment, but still playing a part, and hopefully get back in the water. Even if you're just couple of meters. Well, look, we've had some great dives just being a couple of meters down, haven't we? puffins in the water. We had seals around us.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
yeah. And even
so-
if, you know, he doesn't get to, you know, do the breathing underwater, at least he can, you know, free dive or snorkel.
And doing it with Grace, you know, you're doing it together, aren't you? So, that's it. And you don't need saying more, but that's like you're doing it with your daughter, and great.
Yeah. Yeah, and it, you know, reflects on you and Honey just coming up to doing her open water as well.
Yeah,
So
It's not been a lovely timed episode actually. So really cool.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see the rest of, you know,
Ocean Day and Father's Day just ahead.
I know June's an exciting month. So and then see what the future holds for when Grace goes back to, you know, university and what her next year holds.
Yeah,
exciting.
Yeah.
So, anybody listening, look Grace up on Instagram and follow her journey, and I'm sure you'll be inspired.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, she mentioned some great names. Some of them are past guests. You know, so it's no surprise, you know, that Grace followed those people. So that's really cool. And Fourth Element being, you know, amongst the name. As a brand, you know, when we first met Grace, and you know, that's a brand that we've kind of grown close to, isn't it? You know,
and I think a really good thing that's come out of the podcast and that conversation is showing that diving is so accessible. It is not it's open to everybody.
Yeah, definitely. And I think diving, especially for kids, and this is one of the things I've said to Honey, is that once she's qualified, you know, it does add another channel for a job, doesn't it? Don't have to, you know, but it does open another channel of different things you could go and do.
Yeah, it's another life skill in some respects that you've chosen to take on and learn.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's and you know, there's not many other things, you know, any other sport. It's people that, you know, specialize in football. Yeah, opens up football to them. But I think diving, it isn't just diving and getting underwater. There's photography, there's the science, there's the conservation. There's so many different areas.
Yeah,
that you can walk into.
And funny enough, actually, we should probably say congratulations as well. I noticed today that talking about exploring, photography, and doing things for the diving community, but Dean Martin has been accepted as part of the Explorers Club. So that's really cool. So well done to Dean.
Well, and they mentioned it as well.
Yeah, and another previous guest.
Yes.
I think about 100, wasn't it? About 80, somewhere like that, about a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah, so and it just shows how closely knit the diving world is.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
So, and again, everybody's got, you know, it is being that support to your fellow divers and your up and coming divers as well, because it just makes the sport stronger and gives it a better foundation.
It does.
Young people coming into it as well.
Yeah. No, that's been awesome. So, you know, if you are listen to this and you think, well, when did they come on? They were our first guests, weren't they? Grace was, and Inca
and May.
And so go back 3 years, episode 4.
It's 4 or 5. Yeah. So,
how did we get them on anyway?
I think it was through the Go Diving show, wasn't it? We saw Grace. She was talking as like an ambassador at Girls at Scuba.
Yes,
they were all on the stage together. Actually.
Yeah, they were.
And Grace. Yeah, all those years ago. And and you think
how the sound quality as well. I remember our recordings back then.
Well, it was all in lockdown, wasn't it?
It was. We didn't know anything,
in our own homes, and
I think we recorded it on our mobile phones.
Yeah, it's probably possibly. You know, Inca and Grace. Zoom was only just kind of being the thing to use then.
It was. Yeah, I've not used Zoom before that, you know, so that was all new.
So it's a good plug. So if you're listening to this and want to go and listen to Grace's first interview with us, then we'll pop the link in the show notes.
We should. Yeah.
You can go back and listen. And and Inka and May, they were great girls, and they've gone on to do great things as well. So look them up on Instagram as well. So we'll give them a shout out as well. Yeah,
definitely. I think we should. Right. I think, hour and a half we've been chatting. So we better probably leave it here. It's going to be a long old podcast, but there we go. These are sometimes, aren't they?
Definitely worth it though.
Yeah, definitely. And, ties in well with World Ocean Day, Father's Day. So all good. And Honey's doing her open water this weekend. So
how fitting.
It is. Another diver joining the ranks.
Yeah, maybe when Honey's done her open water, she can listen to this podcast and then be inspired by Grace.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review if you listen to this. That'd be really good. It helps your fellow diver find us wherever they are in the world. We're going out to 130 countries these days?
134 I think it is. So tell your friends, say listen to this podcast. Even if you tell one person, it makes sense.
That'd be really cool. We try and mix it up. Last episode we were at Stony Cove.
Yes, it was just us, wasn't it? So just talking about our diving experience. So
full-face diving.
A full catalogue of 150 odd episodes to go back and listen to. So as you're driving to your dive site or your dive location, give us a listen.
Yeah, so do that. That'd be really cool.
And if you've got any questions for us, pop them in on a DM or an email and we'll answer them.
Yeah, and if you want to know any more, go to our website, which is thebigscuba.com.
Great. So that was the BiG Scuba Podcast, and thank you very much for listening and downloading.
See you next time.
See you soon.
Now that does wrap up today's episode of the BiG Scuba Podcast. But if you want to hear more from the podcast, make sure you hit that subscribe or follow button depending on what platform you are listening on. That way you will never miss an episode from us. But if you are listening on Apple Podcasts and did enjoy what you heard today, we would really appreciate it if you head to the show page to leave a 5-star rating and review. It really does help us. If you do, please take a screenshot of that review and send it to us on Instagram, and we'll give you a shout out to say a big thank you. If you have any questions for us, or anything that has been mentioned in today's episode, be sure to reach out to us on any of our social media platforms or send us an email. The links are in the show notes. We will get back to you no matter what. If you have made it to this point in the episode, we both want to say a big thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode.